Founding President of Peking University Overseas Students Alumni Association, Professor Jaime Flor Cruz. Physician, lawyer, and professor of the University of San Agustine's College of Liberal Arts in Iloilo, Dr. Mariano Leolandro Emilio Aportaleda. President and Editor-in-Chief of SovereignPH.com, Adolfo Ado Paglinawan. And 5-1 Talk Brand Ambassador John Nicolo Fernandez.
Kindly join us up on stage. Thank you. May we request you to please join us up on stage. To invite the awardees for the Outstanding Contributions Awardees. Here are Philippine Association for Chinese Studies President Dr. Romel Banlawi, Global Top News Radio and Ang Maestro host Herman Camentong Laurel, Confucius Institute at University of the Philippines Diliman Director, Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno.
Now here are the Hall of Fame awardees. Former First Lady Imelda Romualdez Marcos and former Special Envoy of the Philippines to China and Philippines Silk Road International Chamber of Commerce Chairman Ambassador Francis Chua. Ladies and gentlemen, the Appcu 2021 laureates. Let us give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much. You may please be seated. Thank you.
Thank you, 2021 laureates. At this junction, let me introduce an empowered woman who made significant efforts in promoting friendship and in establishing the relationship of the Philippines with China during her presidency. She's a former senator from 1992 to 1998. She was then elected as the Vice President of the Philippines in 1998, and by 2001, she became the second female president of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chairman Emeritus of Association for the Philippines-China Understanding and former Philippine President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Let's watch this.
Ambassador Wang, Chairman Landino, President Jeffrey, ladies and gentlemen. First, belated Philippines-China Friendship Day and advanced Happy Independence Day. Second, congratulations to the officers of Apcu for actively promoting the goals of this association even during the days of pandemic restrictions. You show that when one truly believes in a cause, he or she will find the energy and the means to promote that cause. Continuing the APPCU, now on its second year, is another proof of your sincere desire to make the friendship between the Philippines and China warmer. Our two countries are now in what I call a second age, golden age of relations. It was Chinese President Hu Jintao who told me when we had a bilateral talk at one of the APEC leaders summits that our two countries were approaching the golden age of relationship. subsequent exchanges and cooperation within our two nations, China's generosity to the Filipino people, and the Filipino-Chinese community's tireless work to further strengthen the ties between our two countries led to the full blossoming of our relations. Everyone knows that some time ago, we had a 6-year period when Philippines-China relations were at what may be called an all-time low since the start of our formal relations in 1975. However, when Mayor Rodrigo Duterte was elected president, he reversed that unfriendly stance towards China such that in 2018, Chinese President Xi Jinping came over for a state visit, the first visit to our country of a Chinese president since President Hu's state visit in 2005. President Xi's 2018 visit signaled that our two countries are once again close buddies and good partners, working for our common goal to attain inclusive and sustainable growth in Asia in an atmosphere of unity and peace. I cannot, however, avoid mentioning that period of chilly relations because that served as the background for the recipient of Apcu's special Paduka Pahala Award. For those who are not historically inclined, Paduka Pahala was a Sultan of Sulu who traveled with his wife and 2 sons to China to visit the Chinese emperor. He died in Shandong province on his way home. The Chinese emperor ordered a mausoleum to be constructed to serve as burial site for the Sultan. Paduka Pahala may very well be regarded as our very first ambassador to China, and his mausoleum, which is a tourist attraction to this day, remains a symbol of the deep affection China holds for the Philippines. Hence, Apcu's Paduka Pahala Award is given posthumously to Ambassador Jose Santiago Chito Santa Romana, our most recent ambassador to China, not only because his death paralleled that of Sultan Paduka Pahalas in that Chito died while on duty in China, but more than that, Ambassador Santa Romana was a giant among Philippine diplomats, one who dared take on a job that in his very words, no one wanted, at the time when Philippines-China relations had turned cold. In fact, Chito's 2 immediate predecessors, Sonia Brady and Erlinda Basilio, fell very ill from stress. Chito was faced with a mission impossible, that of repairing the damage done to our two countries' centuries-old good relations. But Chito was always a courageous man. Huge challenges were not new to him. While attending college, he already had a name as a student activist, and according to his many friends, he was in China in the early 1970s when he learned that an arrest order for him had been sent out, so he decided to stay. He learned the language and the culture, did manual labor for some time before making use of his proficiency in English to teach this language to the Chinese, and much later joined the China Bureau of ABC News, where he later became bureau chief until he retired in 2010. He lived in China before the country had its economic boom and experienced how that country's phases of reforms positively transformed the lives of hundreds of millions of Chinese. His deep knowledge of the language and the people of his adopted country and his own congenial attributes made him the ideal choice as a Philippine ambassador to China when we urgently needed someone to rekindle the lost warmth of friendship. In the words of his friend and fellow journalist Benjamin Kang Lim, Chito was patient, professional, and never took things personally. The epitome of a Filipino gentleman, sincere, decent, and kind. I met Chito many times before he was appointed as ambassador and when he was already one, and I could not but agree with those words of praise for him. With all those personal qualities and aided by President Duterte's positive views on China, Chito pulled off what many other seasoned diplomats probably could not have done as well, restoring China's good faith in the Philippines, such that in no less than 2 years from his appointment as ambassador, Chinese President Xi Jinping made a state visit to our country. The Department of Foreign Affairs recognizes Ambassador Santa Romana's contribution to Philippine diplomacy. Thus, under his distinguished tenure, Philippines-China relations flourished despite differences. Indeed, they flowered all the more in maturity and were deeply strengthened. Apcu's Pahala Paduka Award to the late Ambassador Santa Romana is our way of recognizing his invaluable service to the nation and thanking him for helping advance Apcu's goals to deepen our country's friendship with China. We also have our other awardees who've given a big push to warmer Philippines-China relations and whose efforts have made a big impact on the lives of our people. We have our Hall of Fame awardees, my fellow former President Joseph Erap Estrada and Ambassador Francisco Frank Benedicto. Congratulations, President Erap and Frank. From the time President Erap was a mayor until he was elected senator, vice president, then president, and much later mayor of Manila, he has always been supportive of the Filipino-Chinese community. So much so that among Filipino dignitaries past and present, he is among the most preferred invitees to events of the Filipino-Chinese community. Then and now, President Erap's friendliness and ever-readiness to help endear him to the Chinoys, especially the Filipino-Chinese community. My only regret is that my efforts for him to be a guest in Beijing when he was Manila mayor fell through. I hope we can still make it happen even during his retirement. Mabuhay ka, President Erap. Then we have Ambassador Frank Benedicto, Cebu's pride in the diplomatic world. He served 4 Philippine presidents, Presidents Gloria Aquino, FDR, Erap, and me. Throughout his assignments, he always made the Philippines proud. He was such a good example of how Filipino and Chinese cultures could blend seamlessly. Congratulations, Frank, and thank you for your outstanding service during my presidency, and thank you for your support to Apcu Cebu. I also congratulate our other awardees for the outstanding contributions category. Wilson Lee Flores, moderator of Kamuning's Bakeries Pandesal Forum and honorary chair of Anvil. Rodrigo Rod Capunan, Mauro Giasamonte, Princess Giselle Kiram, a descendant of the Sultan of Sulu. Congratulations too to those who are receiving the Apcu APPCU under the major contributions category. Paul Gutierrez, Professor Cabin Franco Pamintuan, Celso Cainglet, April Marie Dayap. To all of our awardees today, congratulations again. We of Apcu hope that your award will inspire you even more to further relations between the Philippines and China. To the leadership of Apcu, I say, as Chairman Emeritus of this association, keep up the good work and ensure that this renewed golden age of friendship will be mutually beneficial for our two countries. Mabuhay and Sheshe.